Welcome. This is Bill Swartz in Scottsdale with Rideshare Redemption. My story, from riches to rags to rideshare. Reasons to believe in a changing America. As of yesterday, September 4th, 2021, I have been in possession of a rented 2011 Prius from UCars and approved to drive on the Lyft platform for 31 days. I'm going to review the details of my driving activity, performance, earnings, costs, and income, as well as do what is called a SWOT assessment of my rideshare business. Often referred to as the tried and true method of strategic analysis in business, SWOT, or SWOT, is an acronym for the 4 parameters the SWOT analysis technique examines. It is the business equivalent of being able to navigate by the stars in seamanship or use a map and compass in orienteering. A snapshot self-assessment that one can literally do on the back of the proverbial napkin if need be. I will walk through the process and reveal what it uncovers after I give you the numbers for this first month. You are my board of directors, and what follows is intended to provide you with a clear picture of what I am doing to create value for my shareholders, customers, the community, and society. In these first 31 days, 17 of them were revenue generating. I had booked time, or time engaged in delivering people through the app, of 101 hours. Gave 294 rides in that time, got a 5-star rating from every single one, generated total earnings of $2,694, paid $1,600 total with down day credits accounted for to UCars for the Prius, and spent $338 total on gas, giving me gross earnings of $23.56. That means an average day for those 17 days spent driving broke down as follows: 6 hours spent giving 17 rides to passengers, revenue before expenses of $158, costs of $114 daily, and gross earnings of $44 per day. In that same 31 days, we mapped our initial customer value proposition, designed and launched version 1.0 of our product, scripted and published 10 short videos for the Rideshare Redemption channel on YouTube, generating close to 1,000 views, and developed the personal habit changes necessary to sustain and build our success going forward. One thing which has been conspicuous in its absence is any hint of rudeness or unpleasantness from a single passenger, not a one. What have I learned thus far, and what advice would I have for the noob I was just 31 days ago? I've learned that rideshare driving is all about inner game. You own the environment, and whatever it creates is, for the most part, your own responsibility. Perfectionism is not its own reward in rideshare. Patience is king. The bar has been set fairly low, so it is easy to seem special, and not very difficult to actually be special in passenger experience terms. Driving combines a meditative state with heightened attention and awareness to create a Zen-like professional at work bubble of presence that many passengers will truly connect with and benefit from. Going forward into month 2, I plan a shift from a design, development, and habit building focus to a perfect and produce stage. Perfecting my personal rhythm of life processes to support and sustain this new lifestyle, and dedicated to producing substantial revenue well above the levels of the first month. And beyond that, to become serious about diversifying into multiple streams of revenue from several sources, including car advertising, rideshare side hustles, working on other platforms beyond Lyft, and more. Now, what about that SWOT analysis I promised? The SWOT analysis is important because it is an old school kind of shorthand assessment that I classify under the heading caveman economics. This is the kind of great tool for the entrepreneur and self-employed that is just a few steps and writing down what you come up with. Break this out in any job interview as a way to frame your own qualifications for a good job, and you will distinguish yourself as someone smarter and more savvy than every other candidate. I guarantee it. Let's go through it briefly. It reviews strengths or characteristics of the business or you that give it an advantage over others. Weaknesses or characteristics that place the business or you at a disadvantage relative to others. Opportunities, or elements in the environment that the business or you could exploit to its advantage. And threats, elements in the environment that could cause trouble for the business or you. So, starting with my strengths. And let's keep in mind, I have a few major facets to what I'm doing. Those facets include generating revenue, personally changing the nature of my life through service in rideshare, making amends to society, in a sense, for a life benefiting from selfishness, and the creation of a content platform, Rideshare Redemption, which allows me to elevate my own life and others through storytelling. But most importantly, my goal is to create that which we spoke of in the video, What is My Product? Kairos, Aristotle's concept of a hole in time through which ideas that can change lives in an instant travel into the hearts and minds of those who experience it. In this first month, in at least one instance, I know Kairos happened for me and my passenger both. I speak about the experience in the video, Heartbreaking, B-R-A-K-I-N-G, Heartbreaking. From a strength standpoint, I truly believe there is no one else with quite the range of shoes walked in a mile experiences I have amassed, supported by the education and storytelling ability I have, to build what in effect is a new kind of user interface on top of the Lyft platform. A custom one-at-a-time Pez dispenser of human experience with a Wheel of Fortune-like revenue chaser. Which leads directly to my weakness, because weaknesses are simply strengths taken to their extremes. I'm approaching a business of science as an artist. What do I mean by that? Rideshare is a numbers game. It is a production game. Success in rideshare is to a great extent about understanding the science of an algorithm and executing operationally based on that understanding. Yet I am making it like painting the Mona Lisa. The problem being that if all I do is create the perfect ride, but it is not delivered at some level of scale, then I will have failed. So my weakness is my strength. My ability to design the perfect ride and living in that place of creation to a fault stands in the way of delivering that perfect ride at scale. Next we have the O. I want to say I've always been good at the O, but that would be self-aggrandizing. Opportunities. Elements in the environment the business can exploit to its advantage. Here's where we get to put the O in wow today. I, for one, do not believe timing is everything, but I do believe it's a lot. Rideshare is to society what food is to people. It ties us all together. Rideshare is the new American railroad, a multidimensional engine of social change and economic enablement that barely has been examined socially, the nuances of which are debated by almost no one. Rideshare Redemption, the alt-ride experience, and Bill Swartz are perfectly tuned and prepared to meet the opportunity of leading the educational, experiential tour of this new world. And finally, today we come to the T. What are the threats to our success? I must admit I've never been in a business which is as at risk as being a rideshare driver. If any of a range of events should occur, some of which would be unlikely, such as loss of my license, and some of which would be likely, a brief illness, my business will be completely shut down for the duration of that event. This includes something random, such as being booted temporarily off the platform I earn a living on, which is Lyft right now, for reasons that make no sense. I don't, of course, anticipate this, but it gets reported, and it does happen. The most likely threat I see is from an accident or illness, and in a sense, these are the hardest to protect against and plan for, other than following all the best possible safety and health practices, which I do. The threat that actually worries me is being denied access to either Lyft or Uber's platforms or both for any reason. Because should that occur, it seems as though I would face a Kafkaesque drama in trying to communicate with someone about being reinstated. Lyft famously does not even possess phone support. One must resolve any issue with the company by text. So, my strategy to combat or mitigate against these risks is first, to focus on producing as much revenue as I can in the next phase so that I can build up a stockpile of cash for weathering any later issues. I plan to add additional revenue streams and platforms so that I am not entirely dependent on just one. And finally, I plan to aggressively grow the content and subscriber base for Rideshare Redemption, which I feel will be a key component of the strategy to overcome any unexpected threat issues that might arise from any direction. As a final item, let me say that though I have had a strategy and plan, this experience has taken on a life of its own, and I am no longer driving it, if ever I was, no pun intended. I don't know what the future of this experience holds, but I know I want you to stay with me as we go so I can get your help in figuring out what we discover really means. Much love to you all. Peace.